All right, good evening, nerds around the world. Coming to you from the 1.5 channel. It is episode 127 of the Nerds United One podcast. Yes, we are back. I know it's been 2 months. Things get in the way. It's all Colton's fault if you want to know. Just kidding. We are back. We're back at last. I am your host, Paul English, and we got a hell of a show for you. We are going to be discussing what is arguably the biggest comic book movie of all time, Avengers: Infinity War. And to help out with that, I have a superb panel that I'm going to introduce to you. Chris, did you invite someone in?
Yes, I did. We'll be introducing him. Brian, good of you to join us, but we'll continue. Paul, we'll continue as Paul begins introductions.
Chris, our co-founder, how are you?
What's going on, guys? It means get lost. Quit word. Let me stop. But great movie. Can't wait to talk about it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's insane. Yes, absolutely.
All right, before we continue, why don't you introduce us to your friend?
Yes, I did a podcast with this guy and his good friend. Welcome Ryan Perez to the show. Ryan, say hello to everybody. Ryan.
Hey there, guys.
All right, this is Eric, Paul, and Colton. And
nice to meet everybody.
Ryan, run before it's too late.
Stick around for the end, then decide if you want to run.
Okay.
Speaking of running, hey, Colton is here. What's up, my man?
Wakanda forever! Well, in the last third of the movie.
It's the same what happened to Black. I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, jeez.
Well, most of them are not.
Okay, I got a bad feeling some people are going to bring a lot of political stuff in here.
No, I swear I'm not.
And look who else is here. I saw this movie with them. It's Eric Mickelson. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Been busy myself, so it's convenient for me. We've been off the air, so now it looks like I haven't missed a show. I can't wait to discuss the movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think anyone can. Before we do, though, I want everyone here, like, really quick, since we didn't get a chance to discuss something else, some other two things like we planned. So I want everyone super quick. What did y'all think of Black Panther? I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's like the revolutionary blockbuster that people are hyping it up to be, but I did enjoy it. Solid movie, great acting, great action, beautiful visuals. Definitely one of Marvel's better movies. So, Chris, super quick, Black Panther, what'd you think?
To my shame, I have not seen this film yet.
Ooh.
You've had 2 months. 2 months.
Colton, go quick. That's your punishment, Chris. How dare you not see Black Panther? It's coming out on Blu-ray in like 15 days. You better fucking buy it.
I want to have some of this indignity. That's a piece of shit.
Colton, what did you think of Black Panther?
I really enjoyed it. I felt like the scale of the story was a tad small. It could have been bigger, but for what we got, though, I really enjoyed it. I love the Wakandans. They're a proud warrior race. Wakanda itself had some gorgeous visuals. Like when Black Panther and company first showed up in Wakanda, I was just in awe. And of course, you got Michael B. Jordan doing a pretty good job at playing a villain when I was kind of risked that he might not be able to pull it off. So overall, I really enjoyed that movie, and I liked how and being a black superhero movie was also a bonus, since the last 2 movies we had were Catwoman and Blade Trinity, and we all know how those movies turned out.
I wouldn't know. I've never seen any of them, so I'll take your word for it.
For your own good.
So I've been told, Eric, Black Panther. Didn't we see that together with Mike?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And I have seen it twice. I saw it once since then. I think it's a fantastic movie. It's actually my number 5 movie in the entirety of the MCU. Similar praises that Colton gave, but more specifically, I just love how ambitious it is. You know, they could just make any, regular old superhero movie with Marvel, and they can pretty much churn out a big blockbuster that's successful. But not only do they take the risk of telling an all-African story like everyone talks about, but they also brought a politically charged topic in there, not making it the center of the story, but making it the centerpiece of what defines the characters and how they go about their conflict, which I think is a really smart way to approach it. and gives it a lot more for people to talk about for years to come. Not only that, its set pieces and soundtrack are absolutely beautiful and stunning. The only criticism I have is just, like Colton said, at times, especially in the finale, it feels like it's a bit small scale.
Okay, fair enough. Ryan, since you're new, why don't you have you seen Black Panther? And real quick, what did you think of it?
Yes, I loved it. I thought it was great. Definitely top 5 MCU films. Michael B. Jordan's fantastic. Chadwick Boseman, great. Ryan Coogler, great director. Yeah, it was good. Make it nice and quick.
All right, very good. Also super quick, we're going to discuss this last week when it dropped, but we didn't get a chance to. The new Venom trailer with Tom Hardy. I want everyone like a couple seconds. What'd you think? I don't know, I'm still a little iffy on this film. I'm not sure. I think Tom Hardy will do fine. The way the symbiote, that is how it's pronounced, by the way. It's not symbiote. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. It's symbiote. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but it's symbiote. It's interesting.
Good one job, Sony.
Yeah, Sony. I don't know, but I have a little more hope than I previously did. Let's put it like that. This film now intrigues me a little bit. I'm curious. Chris, what about you?
I'm with you. I was like this. I was like, why are they giving this character a solo film? I mean, yeah, Venom is one of the most badass and probably most complex, probably one of the most dangerous adversaries in Spider-Man's rogue gallery. Tom Hardy is a good actor, very much so. In Inception, Dark Knight Rises, yeah, he has shown he is a high caliber talent, and there's no doubt he's going to give a great performance. My issue is the film. Like I said, can he carry a film? Is this film even needed? I mean, when I saw the trailer, I was like, when I saw the first teaser, it's like, no, I don't know. I'm not sure about this. Once the second trailer came by, I was like, I'm a little more curious. I'll give this a try. It definitely has a horror movie vibe and stuff and something like that. I mean, it's just like, yeah, the story may seem a little thin in parts, I guess. I mean, I don't know this is how it's going to turn out, but I'm intrigued. So I'm having a little more hope for this thing.
Okay, Colton, what about you? Venom trailer.
Well, I like some parts of the trailer. Like, it looks like it's going to be suitably creepy. But my problem with it is just what I thought, what a lot of people said before. Who is Venom without Spider-Man? And without him, he just feels like the story just feels. It makes me think of Ghost Rider almost, with a good guy with a demonic influence that he's trying to do for good, or like the Hulk or something like that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. And in fact, it feels like Eddie is almost going through a modified version of Peter's arc with the black suit, So it feels just, at the moment, the storyline just feels very redundant without Venom's primary motivation being present. Also, what the hell is up with Tom Hardy's accent? It just sounds so fake.
Look, not every British actor can do an American accent, okay? It takes effort. Not everyone can do it, okay? Trust me, I've tried to do many accents. I can't do all of them. Okay, Eric, I remember you telling me that when we saw Infinity War, that was the first time you'd seen that Venom trailer. So what did you think of it?
Honestly, based on both the trailers and just track record with Sony's movies outside Spider-Man Homecoming, because that was barely a Sony movie, they haven't had a great track record, and I wasn't impressed by the first trailer. This trailer, the action looks kind of cool. I definitely like the visual design of Venom at the end, but outside of that, it didn't really impress me that much. So I'm probably still going to see it just to talk about it, but it's not giving me any super high hopes of it or anything.
Same here.
Okay. Ryan, have you seen the new Venom trailer? And if so, real quick, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was fine. It's kind of like when they gave Toxin his own run in the comic books. You're like, why? Why is this a thing? Like, why are we doing this? Like, there's no Spider-Man in this? Oh, okay, I mean, it looks cool. Tom Hardy's amazing, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay, all right. One last thing I do want to add. If anyone can tell me this, who the hell is voicing Venom? I know that voice, so I have heard it before. I just can't pinpoint from where. So if anyone can tell me that, I would appreciate it.
I think it's Tom Hardy's voice just altered.
Yeah, I think it's Tom Hardy as well. That's why I've been
hearing. Yeah, no, that's Tom Hardy. They just do a synthesizer over his voice.
All right. All right, I was gonna say I know I've heard that voice on somewhere else. I just can't. Thought it was somebody else. All right. Anyway, so got those out of the way. Okay, here's a big one, goes Infinity War. Super quick thoughts for everyone, and then we'll go into some specifics. What the fuck did I see? Like, it's been 48 hours. I'm still trying to process it. Like, this is hands down Marvel's most ambitious movie, no doubt. I really, Max said he couldn't be here because he didn't really have the words to describe what it was. And I understand that, like I said, it's been 48 hours, over 48 hours. I'm still trying to figure out how to process this whole thing. It is definitely Marvel's biggest film. And I didn't think it could deliver that much hype, but by God, they did. Some of the, this one was like nonstop action. Some of the decisions they made, the directions, the choices they made that this movie took, I didn't think Disney would have the balls to do it, but they did. And I'll elaborate more into that later. But wow, I am still stunned by this. So, we'll get into more specifics later, but that's just a quick run-up. Amazing, amazing movie. Chris, just general thoughts real quick, and then we'll get into some specifics.
I mean, this movie, simply put, is fantastic. Absolutely, dude. Oh, my goodness. The scale of it, massive. Just exploding in grandeur. It's just, oh my goodness. Yeah, just like Joe Anthony Russo have hit another home run. The Russo brothers have hit another home run. It's like that double whammy with Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Civil War, Captain America, Civil War. This one, I think, I don't know how to place this. Maybe I had to look this at the retrospect. But yeah, God, this movie deliver, man. It's just like, this is the scale of it. Just like it exceeds your expectations. It's very exciting. It's very entertaining. The humor is well done, even though it tends to go a little overboard at times. I mean, that was my usual criticism of Marvel films. They have a massive cast and they know how to balance them well by giving a lot of characters a lot of interaction, giving them a lot of attention. The screenplay was well written. It was very much exciting, very much intense. It's just great acting all abroad. But Josh Brolin, oh my goodness, yes, man, he just embodies Thanos. It's just like, man, he's just chilling, man.
And we will get into that absolutely. Colton, what about you? What did you just quick general thoughts of the movie?
I actually thought there was kind of an imbalance regarding the characters, with some characters getting more focused than others, though this was kind of inevitable given how many characters there were, and they'll have another movie to address the characters that were kind of neglected in this movie. And the ending also will sort of handle some of the too many characters things, but we'll get to that later. But besides that, though, I loved the scale of the movie. I loved how it started, and man, was this movie's soundtrack just phenomenal in places. And Josh Brolin, like Chris said, he did a solid job as well. And I loved the acting from everybody else. They did a pretty good job. And this movie even got me to like Doctor Strange, when I wasn't that big a fan of him in his solo film.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, that's saying something. Eric, how about you? I mean, we talked about it on the way home from the theater, but give us some more thoughts now that you've had time to process everything.
All right. Well, I'm just going to try and go short, sweet, and to the point so we can get to the specifics discussion. Overall, I thought the movie was fantastic, one of my favorites in the entire franchise. Given that they had the problem with the too many characters that they could be dealing with such an ambitious crossover, I like the direction they chose, where they didn't really go and explain the motivations and the depth of each and every character and pad out the length of the movie. It just kind of rolled as if it was a living world rather than giving you lots of exposition. And the way the movie was paced, it was basically either action or tense scenes followed by action, intensity. So it kept you on the edge of your seat the entire time. And it was just absolutely amazing, with lots of jaw-dropping moments, a fantastic soundtrack, and plenty of twists to come.
Indeed. Okay, Ryan, what about you? Just quick general thoughts before we get to specifics. What did you think of Infinity War?
Did he leave?
I think so. Okay, and that's fine. We'll keep going then. So let's get into some specifics then. First of all,
Spoiler warning!
Yeah, Spoiler warning, as if that should be said. If you have not seen Infinity War, stop right now. Go back, go watch the movie, and then come back to us once you've done. Okay, guys. So
this is the point of no return.
Yeah, point of no return. You have been warned. So let's talk about the characters. As I said, huge roster. Basically, nearly every character who's ever appeared in a Marvel movie, at least as far as heroes go, show up in this. So how do they balance it out? Did each character get a fair amount of screen time? What development? Blah blah blah. All that stuff. What happened? I thought it worked great. I thought, I think the cool thing about, I don't think they had to do much in the way of like development for these characters, because they've already gotten, each one of these characters have already gotten so much development, whether from their own solo films or whether through previous team-up movies. There wasn't much need to develop many of the characters, so it gave time to just devote to all the action sequences, the great intense moments, the character interactions, whatever they were emotional, they were driven, they were very, very well done. So I thought the character balance was very good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Chris, go for it.
The characters were just like, they just really were well depicted. They were very much faithful. There was no kind of inconsistency I felt found in as regards to how the characters were depicted in the previous 18 movies that we see in them. 10 years. We got these movies, and the MCU's got like 19 movies. Made 19 movies over a span 10 years, and they managed to just maintain a well done balance. And of course, they didn't deliver less. I suppose they didn't deliver less. I mean, Iron Man was great, Thor was great, Scott Wish was great, and everyone is just like. I think the criticism becomes. I think some people criticism comes down to lack of development. I guess. I mean, I'm not really certain that. I mean, not from what I've seen. It's just like, like I said, the key is like giving each character an equal amount of screen time. I mean, I felt some characters were a little bit sidelined, but that's given a large cast. But yeah, I really don't have a lot of complaints about the characters in this movie. I thought they, like I said, they were.
Yeah, Ant-Man and Hawkeye were really shafted in their screen time.
Are you?
I'm still mad about that.
Okay, they're going to show up in the fourth one, right?
I know, but I wanted Hawkeye in this one.
Yeah, I know. Here's what Eric wants to see, guys. He wants to see a 2-hour movie of Ant-Man and Hawkeye building a porch on his house while the
because Marvel does their characters so well. They could literally have a 2-hour conversation with their characters, and it would be a great movie.
I pay to see him.
Thank you.
You both are nuts. You both are delusional.
I'm not going to mute him, but if anyone else wants to, go right ahead. What did you think of the characters? Okay, here we go.
Okay, like I said, I felt like there was kind of an imbalance, which was sort of to be expected. Like, I feel like Cap and some of the characters were just there along for the ride just to fight, like Captain America and most of his teams.
Shut the fuck up, Colton. Let me stop.
As I was saying, okay, some of the characters were just there to start to fight, which made sense. And the characters that they did give focus to were the right people, I guess you could say. Gamora, Nebula, Tony, Doctor Strange, what have you. They all had the most connections with Thanos, so of course they naturally got the most screen time. And I also liked how, in fact, you could probably say that this movie was mostly belonged to at large belonged to the Phase 2 and 3 characters, while the Phase 1 characters kind of had with the exception of Tony, had the least to do. But we saw how the movie ended. It's clear that the Phase 1 crowd are going to have a lot more to do in Avengers 4, but more on that later. But I really loved what they did with a lot of the characters that they did, like especially what they did with Nebula and Thanos and the scene on whatever that planet is called. What? Teams go down and played off each other well. And then there's also the surprise cameo from the Red Skull. That was probably one of the best uses of a character I've in Marvel in a while. I did not see that coming. I literally gasped. I am not joking, because I did not think we would ever see the Red Skull again. I always joked around thinking, it looked like a portal opened above his head when he touched the Tesseract. I wonder if that actually sent him somewhere. Yeah. Hugo Weaving doesn't want to come back to be the Red Skull. So that's not going to happen. Oh, never mind. They just cast a new actor. Red Skull's back, everybody. And I also really liked what they did with Thor, though. I liked how it was how it built off of his arc from Ragnarok. He had went through hell in that movie, and he took a lot of it in stride at first. But in this movie, all those emotions just boiled to the surface, and he was freaking pissed off, and he was going to take out Thanos if it was the last thing he did. And I felt like he and Rocket had a good dynamic. I liked how Rocket, tried to bond with Thor a little bit, so being the captain and all that jazz. And I also liked how Drax's comedy was toned down a bit more in this movie. Like in Guardians 2, he was kind of a dick to Mantis, so I liked how they didn't rehash that joke.
They must be so embarrassed. Let me stop.
You can't see me, I'm invisible.
I'm even standing there.
Long enough. All right. I know someone else who was thrilled to death that Red Skull returned, and that was Eric. So what else did you think of the characters?
All right. Oh, the characters specifically. Yeah. Like I was saying in my things I liked a lot, the way they handled having such a large cast, I think, was very good. How they just treated it like it was a living world. And a lot more characters got things to do in this movie than I thought would actually get focus. I was really happy that Spider-Man got a lot of focus in this movie. Like the little bits that we always saw of the Phase 1 characters, like Colton said, it really relied on the Phase 2 characters, and I thought they did a great job. Only thing about the characters I wasn't completely thrilled with, and this is kind of like my main criticism of the movie that I told Paul about, is that I like the attempt they made where if it has a character on screen, it treats it like the tonally wise up until the end. It feels like one of their movies. So like from Thor's perspective, it feels like an old Thor movie. You'll get Iron Man. It's like an Iron Man movie. When you jump to the Guardians of the Galaxy, it feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which is pretty cool, especially if you've seen their movies. Create some tonal inconsistencies in the beginning, but they patch that up near the end, and it's honestly just so cool to see all these characters from completely different films and scenarios just meet up with each other and find the interactions. And I love seeing that. Was one of my favorite things about Avengers the first time seeing it, just the crazy dynamics that happened, and that's on full display here.
Absolutely. Okay, welcome back, Ryan. Why don't you tell us what you thought of the characters in this movie, the heroes specifically?
I honestly loved what they did. Yeah, that was a big concern to me going in, because I knew it was going to be like a giant crossover event in a comic book where we're going to have some characters who have a lot more development than others. But I loved most of them. I loved all the dynamics, with Doctor Strange and Tony Stark, Star-Lord, and Spider-Man. The Kevin Bacon part was hilarious. There was
probably part of it too.
Me, though. There's two characters that
still
I feel
the greatest
like
movie of all time. It was.
It was actually Korg and Meek. I was hoping they were going to be in this because I love Korg. I wasn't really. I know. I was like, he's probably dead. But
no. I forgot about him.
Yeah, and I was just like, but character-wise, Red Skull being there, that was. I never heard so many people gasp and use profanity openly in a theater before. And but I'm happy Spider-Man got a lot more time to shine than he did in Civil War. But yeah, I absolutely loved all the characters. But there's someone else I want to talk about, but we're gonna save that because we're just talking about the heroes right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's talk about not like the hero. Let's talk about one character in specific, and we can't do without really addressing the biggest complaint that anyone can have about the Marvel movies, as great as they are. Their villains really have not been too much to shine. I think everyone agrees Loki is probably like, when they think of like good Marvel villain, everyone usually thinks of Loki. I'm in the minority when I say Zemo was a great villain. I don't know why people don't like him. I thought he was a fantastic villain.
I like him.
His plan sucked.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. Well, that's a discussion for another time. But
Plan was an more elaborate than any other comic book movie villain. Okay.
But we did have a great villain earlier this year with Killmonger in Black Panther. And, well, you'll find out why. But
And Vulture.
even though it's only back-to-back, I'm hoping this means Marvel solved their villain problem. You know, although I forgot to mention Michael Keaton in Spider-Man Homecoming, what a fantastic villain he was.
Yes.
So we got Killmonger this year and earlier this year, and now we got Thanos, the Mad Titan. I'll admit, when I saw him first show up in the trailer, I was a little concerned. I'm like, I don't know, this guy, he doesn't look all that intimidating, but holy shit, Josh Brolin proved me wrong. What a performance he gave. This guy was so intense. He was so well done, performed incredible. And yet, despite all of that, there was a logic to a cold logic to his plan, which made you almost sympathize with him somewhere. At the very least, you understood where he was coming from. And that is very good. And that all the great villains have that are where you may not agree with them, but you want to say, okay, I get where he's coming from. So bravo for Josh Brolin. I loved his performance. I can't wait till he does it back next year in Avengers 4, but I don't have to wait too long to see him again because he's playing Cable in Deadpool 2, and I'm even more excited to see Deadpool 2 as if I could be excited enough already. So, Josh Brolin, well done. You are going to own the month of May. Between Thanos and Deadpool 2, you are going to own the next month. He better get a Golden Globe for one of these performances. All right. Chris, coming to you. What did you think of Josh Brolin as the Mad Titan in this movie?
You know, his performance is really the centerpiece of this movie because he's the one who tried to. He got all the Infinity Stones and then the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, this is really Thanos' movie. Pretty much, you know. I mean, him and Gamora and Thor really shared the amount of screen time. But yeah, Josh Brolin as Thanos. Whoa, did he blow me away? Just like his mere presence alone, he brought a sinister and calamitous presence to the character, and he just embodies that character. Just like you can really sympathize. Like I said, he comes off as really kind of empathetic. You know, you see why he does what he does. You know, and his scenes with Gamora, they have such richness and depth to them. And that was really the highlight there. It's just him and Zoe Saldana. Their scenes were incredible. It just is like, you know, he's really he really is an intimidating and frightening son of a bitch. You know, he just. I mean, Jim Starlin would be very, very proud of the performance Josh Brolin delivers in this movie. He absolutely floored me. He's probably he's probably one of the best. I mean, he's definitely on the top of best MCU villains, probably best movie villains, period.
I would agree with that. Colton, what did you think of Thanos?
I gotta say, it was kind of weird seeing them trying to humanize someone that believed in mass genocide, or at least half genocide. But strangely enough, and like you guys have said, Josh Brolin's performance managed to draw me into it, Thanos' philosophy almost a little bit. Like in the flashback sequence where we see how he meets Gamora and he hands her that knife and he shows her about balancing it, saying, you know, talking about how it's one side and it tips over or whatever. I actually found myself getting drawn into that speech. And I just loved how intimidating he could be, while also at times like I said, it was odd that he was being humanized, but that scene where he's actually cries, you think that would seem silly from, you know, the big bad, but that was weirdly effective, actually. Mm-hmm. I also love how we are introduced to Thanos and how he goes into that monologue to lose and all that jazz before stepping out of the shadows and into the light, and he says, "Destiny sure arrives," or in this case, me, and reveals he has the Power Stone. And I also loved how when he got the Space Stone, he then takes off all of his armor. Because, you know, I remember a lot of people saying that he looked silly without his armor, but now I understand the symbolism of it. He took the armor off because he doesn't need it anymore. He has two stones, making him as creature in the two of them. So yeah, after 6 movies, several cameos, and a lot of internet memes about how Thanos sucks at his job, they actually managed to pull this character off.
Absolutely, absolutely. Eric, talk to me about Thanos, please.
There's a lot that's been covered already. Yeah, no, I honestly didn't know what they were gonna do with Thanos going in, given that every time you see him in the comics, he's basically just wanting to kill or kill for the sake of Lady Death. So I'm like, all right, how are they gonna make him like actually a good movie villain rather than just a good adaptation villain? And they did a fantastic job. While you certainly can poke holes in his ideals, it's like you at least have a reason he's doing them that's not completely malicious, and you even shows that he does care and believe in what he's doing with that scene where he gets the Soul Stone by killing Gamora, and how he's so torn up by that. And you really believe him, and you really believe that he actually thinks this is like the best thing to do for the universe. And I've loved seeing Marvel actually get good villains lately for that. But one other thing I want to mention about Thanos hasn't been brought up. Man, when he's in combat, do I love how he uses the Infinity Stones. I don't know if we'll have a separate section for talking about the action scenes, but when he has those in his gauntlet, they are, with the exception of the Soul Stone, the creativity at hand with them is just absolutely amazing with every scene he uses them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ryan, what did you think of Thanos?
Oh, I thought he was fantastic. As a writer, and even when it comes to superhero movies, I feel a lot of the time the villains are the weakest part, and it's so hard to make a good villain because most of the time they're carbon copies of the hero. From Iron Man to just a bunch of other even like really good superhero movies, but the villains are weak. I think they made the right choice by making it Thanos' story. Really focusing in on him. And I think just from that first scene alone, where he's on the ship with Thor and everybody, I remember by the end of that scene, I was like, oh, Marvel's not messing around right now. Like, this guy's no good. And yeah, I'm just going to cover what everyone else has covered. I was able to understand why he was doing what he was doing. I was like, maybe you could go a different route about it. I don't know if mass genocide is okay. But, yeah, I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was great. And I hope Marvel continues this trend with villains.
It won't be easy, but I hope so too. Okay, so there is, I guess, before we get to like the big part of this movie, which is like the sorry, let me restart that. There is one specific thing about this movie that I want to address, and that is the humor of the film. Now, when I was reading some like early reviews of this film, they were talking about, oh yeah, it's action packed, it's got a great job, but it's also really funny too. And that got me thinking, oh shit, is this going to be like Thor Ragnarok, but it's just too funny, and it destroyed, like, and it took away from like the seriousness of some of these moments. Now, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. Okay, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I thought it was too funny. You see their home getting destroyed, and the Rock guy makes a joke. It's like, come on, not appropriate. So that did get me concerned, but I will say, granted, there was humor there. There was a good amount of it, but it was good humor. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like it was inserted in the wrong place. It felt natural. Like, yeah, this is what these characters would do. So thank you, Marvel, for not, going too far with the humor, because I know that's been a criticism of a lot of their films. Like, sometimes they'll take the humor, they'll put it in places where it really does not belong. This did not happen in this movie, and I'm glad about that. So, Chris, I want to know what you think. Do you share that criticism on Marvel movies that sometimes they can be too funny? And what do you think about the humor level in this film?
The humor in the Marvel films has been kind of a concern for me. Yeah, they have moments of levity at times, and that, yeah, the levity is well. It can land very well, and can be honestly, it can really put you, not necessarily in stitches. It can put you in stitches, but yeah, you could get a lot of enjoyment out of it, more than enough. Yeah, it breathes a lot of lightness to it. However, I mean, this, I mean, although I do tend to think that they gotten a little bit overboard with humor in this movie, it wasn't as excessive as, say, like in Iron Man 3 or something like that. Or you just, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, it didn't feel. It didn't feel inappropriate at times. Maybe at times a little bit inappropriate. But yeah, it was it exceeds in the character interactions, especially with Doctor Strange and Iron Man. Just like, get off the cold. Did you please stop touching the cauldron of the cosmos? It's like, and the cloak of levitation slapping Tony. He's like, get off of it. He's like, and this whole Stark raving mad, like ice cream. It's like, oh, it's like, oh my lord. Even in the moment when Ebony Maw is on the ship and he's trying to take the time stone, Dr. Strange is like, you should leave this planet right now. And Iron Man's all like, you mean get lost, Squidward? This is like my favorite one. And also like him and
dated reference, Batman.
And also with the thing with I love the Guardians and Thor and their banter, especially with Thor. And especially with Star-Lord imitating Thor. It's like, as a join this Earth, somebody's here. It's like, not today, sir. It's like, you just make your voice deeper. It's
Walking.
I said, no, he just like, this is my voice. This is had. I tell the writers had a ball writing the humor for this thing because it really shows and it really lands in places where it successfully lands, and it was a little bit inappropriate in places, but they managed to achieve quite a delicate balance, and they managed to pull it off very, very well. I very much enjoyed the humor in this movie.
You forgot to mention how Drax was man-crushing on Thor. Like, you are a dude, Star-Lord. This is a man. This is a real...
Like, this is how I achieve invisibility. This is how I achieve invisibility. Oh, my God.
Like a pirate had a baby with an angel.
Dalton, what did you think about the humor in this film? Do you think they overdid it, or was it balanced just right?
They did... Okay, so... Back when Age of Ultron came out, I want to give you the movie a 7.5 because I felt like a lot of the times many of the characters just had jokes at the wrong point in the film, and then I felt like Doctor Strange sort of continued that trend, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 kind of suffered from that problem. But I feel like this movie went back to having a good balance of humor and with its humor and whatnot, without it coming at the expense of the drama. Like, I think my favorite part was that the humor was more natural. It wasn't of the stop and let the audience laugh variety. For the most part, there were some jokes like that, like during the Battle of Wakanda when Wanda saves Scarlet Witch Wanda saves Black Widow from getting killed by throwing one of the members of the Black Order. Wait, no, she saves Okoye.
What the hell is she doing up there?
Yeah, she's like, what the hell is she doing up there? So it's like it's obviously a stop and let the audience laugh sort of joke, but at the same time, that was a good kind of stop and let the audience laugh kind of joke, but at the same time, I liked how the humor, there was less humor like that. And I also feel like the humor, if there was ever any jokes, it usually came before any dramatic scenes rather than following them, like in Thor Ragnarok. And even in the scene when Thor is with the Guardians, I liked how Thor kept relatively stoic and serious rather than, sort of engaging in the Guardians' banter. Like, all the comedy came from them while he was sort of just trying to figure out all the shit he had just gone through while they had no idea what just happened for the most part. So, yeah, I think the movie did a good job with its humor.
Eric, what about you?
Yeah, very much everything that's been said before. I think the humor was pretty well timed. It was appropriate for the most part. I think, again, when we're first introduced to the Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a little bit heavy there. Like, okay, it kind of gets in the way of the storytelling a bit, but after that one scene, it becomes more natural with the characters and feels like it flows with the story. So very, very slightly off balance, but they probably landed as close as they can land in this sort of a movie realistically, and they did a fantastic job with it. Because I know personally that was one issue I was worried about after Thor Ragnarok.
Okay. Ryan, do you want to add anything to this about the humor? Do you think it was played just right, or was there too much? What did you think about it?
Oh,
Ryan?
It's probably crashed again.
Oh, looks like he froze. Okay, no problem. We will continue. Okay, so let's move on to the big one, and that is this. This is something I mentioned earlier. So thanks to Mike, I became aware that Disney owns a whole lot of properties, a lot of other film companies such as Miramax, which technically makes Pulp Fiction a Disney movie. And I apologize to everyone now as images of John Travolta wearing a Mickey Mouse hat ears. Good luck trying to get that out of your head. But so it's not like there hasn't been any R-rated movies coming out of
Dog, it's Jules Winfield. Let me stop.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is this. It's been my observation over the past few years that more than their other properties, Disney really seems to have their hands in Marvel and Lucasfilm, like really trying to get their hands in the honeypot of these two studios, really trying to tell like Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy what to do, like trying to push their agenda onto these properties, not letting them, do their own thing. So that did get me concerned as far as how dark is Infinity War really going to be? Like, how dark will Disney allow them to be? Because I'm somewhat familiar with the Infinity War storyline from the comics, and it is brutal as hell from what I've been told. So again, how dark will Disney allow Marvel to make this? Surely they don't have the balls to just have Thanos kill a lot of people. I was wrong. And thank God, Disney, I applaud you. I didn't think you'd do it, but you did it, and I applaud you for it.
I thought my death predictions were ambitious. Like, people were telling me I was crazy with how many people I said would die, but I was blown away.
No, it does not. The tragedy, the darkness of this film, it just does not feel like right off the bat. Heimdall, Loki, done. They're killed. Thanos just kills them right then and there. Okay.
No more resurrections.
Yeah. And then, of course, in the middle of the film, as Colton or Eric alluded to, Thanos sacrifices Gamora to get the Soul Stone. Who saw that coming? And then at the end of the film, snaps his finger. I mean, how many people, Spider-Man dies in front of Tony Stark's arms?
That was the most emotional scene of the movie.
Agreed. Doctor Strange kicks the bucket. Who else? Scarlet Witch dies. I mean, we knew Vision was a guaranteed death.
Oh, yeah.
War Machine or Falcon, one of them gets croaks.
Falcon.
Who else?
Yeah.
Almost everybody from Phase 2 got erased. The Phase 2 and 3 characters were the ones that got erased, with the exception of Rocket, Okoye, and M'Baku, I think.
No, I think the only member of the Guardians of the Galaxy to survive was Star-Lord. I think everyone else.
No, Star-Lord passed away.
Everybody. Oh yeah, Nebula made it too.
After Spider-Man passed, Tony looks up to right before Spider-Man disappears. Tony looks up to Star-Lord, and he's like, "Don't look down." He's like, "Oh, come on, man!" And then he disappears.
All right, I couldn't remember, but yeah, a lot of the main characters got killed, and the film basically just ends like that. You see Thanos kind of resting. He's like, "I've done my job." I'm like, wait, you're gonna
good foreshadowing by their part. It's that's exactly what he said he'd do.
Yeah, I mean, again, bravo, Disney. I applaud you for allowing Marvel to do that. I didn't think you would allow it, but you did, and I'm glad you did, because, and I alluded to this when Caleb and I did our discussion about Disney buying Fox. Would Disney allow Fox to continue making these R-rated films? Like, if Deadpool 2 is a success, would they allow Deadpool 3 to be R-rated? Would they allow, more X-Men or Fantastic? Would they allow R-rated comic book movies? The fact that they allowed, the Russo brothers to go this dark direction, it gives me hope that yes, they will allow this. And I mean, who knows? Maybe we could get a really good Darth Vader or anthology film somewhere down the line from Star Wars. I mean, I have hope now that Disney will allow these studios, Marvel and Star Wars and Lucasfilm, to take more risks like this, to go in these darker directions. So I was shocked. I could not believe they ended this film like that, even though I kind of had a feeling, this is part one, they're going to end it on a cliffhanger. But I was not anticipating a cliffhanger that dark, so I applaud you, Disney, for letting Marvel do that. Keep it up, okay? So that's what I got. So Chris, I mean, what did you think about the darkness this film had? So many characters dying, and the character that did, the way the film ended. Do you applaud Disney for allowing Marvel to take this risk? Does it give you hope for the future? Talk to me.
Well, Disney does own Marvel, but are they overly involved? No. But I had figured that they would give, Marvel some leeway in how they were going to make this film. They were no strangers to that. They were going to do it their way, and I'm glad they did it their way. They did this film the way they felt it should be done. Did I anticipate that so many people would die? Oh hell, yeah! It is a real gut punch. It leaves you with a sinking feeling. Did I anticipate that Scarlet Witch would die? That's probably one of the most heartbreaking. But I didn't expect that. I didn't. We all know Vision was a goner, pretty much. Even though we didn't want to believe it. Bucky, nope. I didn't expect he would die. Did I expect Falcon to die? Nope. Black Panther, nope. Spider-Man, nope. I mean, I expected some people would die. Like Loki might die, but damn, the death count is so fucking brutal.
I walked into the theater like, they can't kill Black Panther. That's commercial suicide.
They can't kill Spider-Man either because of just how young he is. Like, no.
Exactly.
Well, they're not gonna stay dead.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get to that.
Yeah, they might. All of them might not stay dead, but still, I guess the question remains is, who's going to be brought back? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, this is a very convenient time to look at your contracts with Disney.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I didn't anticipate. I knew it would be dark, but I didn't anticipate it to be this dark. I mean, it just, it does give you the sense of it does give you that sense of danger, that feeling that anyone is up for grabs. That really, I mean, that what gets the film its effectiveness is that it was a real gun punch. It had little hope. You didn't see the Avengers win. You saw them lose, and that was quite a blow. I mean, it really got you into the story. So it really upped the stakes, because anyone could be up for grabs. Man, it's like, and I'm still reeling from it. It's like, did all those people die? It's like, no. It's like, and the post-credit scene. I'm pretty sure we'll get into that. But still, yeah, man, this is like that knocked me out, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Colton, I mean, what was your takeaway from that?
Well, first off, in my first viewing of this movie, as Groot was being erased, there were people in my audience that were literally begging for him not to go. They were like, "Oh no!" And I wasn't. Okay, I have to admit, I wasn't too torn up as the characters were being erased, because given how this was all caused by the Infinity Stones, they can obviously be uncosmically erased. So. But at the same time, I do applaud the movie for actually showing the characters being going to have Thanos snap and cut to black, and that would be the end. And I thought they were going to turn it into a guessing game of who would be erased and who wouldn't. So I actually liked how they didn't toy with the audience. They actually showed everybody getting erased. And like you guys said, Spider-Man, that Tom Holland really sold us. And I also like she realized she was like something's happening, and then it's like she realizes, oh crap, I'm next, and then she disappears, and I didn't see that coming. But the one person shocked me the most was Black Panther. When he went running to Okoye, he's like, "Up, General, up! This is no place to die." And then I thought, okay, Okoye is going to be erased, but no, it's
Okoye. That was running through my head. I was like, when he was walking over, I'm like, man, I really liked her character though.
It's like, I thought she was going to be erased, and then no, it's Black Panther. And I'm like, so a lot of people in my audience gasped as well when Black Panther got erased, and once you see all those characters just disappearing, and then Tony is just alone with Megan, and Nebula's like he did it, and Tony just reflecting on the fact that they just things just went south in the most colossal way possible. And, Doctor Strange, he said this is the only way that they can win. So obviously this is part of his plan for this to be cosmically unreversed, but Tony doesn't know how it's gonna work out and what have you. I mean, Strange saw 14,300,000 something scenarios where they all lost. So the fact that the only scenario where they can win is for him to actually give up the stone, it's like, man, he must have really been desperate. And I also liked, just the intensity in this movie. Like, when the movie starts off, I wasn't sure how it was going to begin, and for them to actually start off with that musical score, and then hearing the SOS from the Asgardian refugee ship, I'm like, holy shit, they're under attack, and hoping the attack, well, sort of, like the end of it, and then just seeing all those people dead and hearing one of Thanos' servants giving a monologue about how their deaths are a noble sacrifice and everything, that just really sent chills up my spine. I think probably the most chilling moment in the movie, however, was during when Tony was going one-on-one with Thanos, and Thanos was actually getting to the point where he was actually ripping off parts of Tony's armor. There's one part where we can briefly see one of Tony's eyes as he's putting as much power into his repulsor blast as he can, and you can see just how freaked out Tony is as Thanos is just walking right through the blast like it's not even happening. And then Tony, in a last-ditch effort, changes his armor into a knife, tries to stab Thanos. Thanos breaks the knife off and stabs Tony in the chest. I gasped. Everybody in my theater gasped. We all thought that was going to be it for Tony. I mean, damn. And not just Tony, but poor Vision. I mean, not only does he die, but this guy really goes through the ringer. When he got stabbed at the end, early in the movie by one of the members of the Black Order, again, people in my audience actually screamed. I gasped, and just seeing him actually, as injured as badly as he was, to the fact that Scarlet Witch had to support him as she was trying to get him away. She's like, "Up, Vision, get up." And he tells him, "No, leave me." And she said, "You asked me to stay, I'm staying." That was pretty heavy. And the Battle of Wakanda, that was also another, suitably tense moment. Like, I liked the Battle of Sokovia, but I was kind of annoyed with how the battle had a little too much casual danger dialogue. Whereas in this movie, when the soldiers, whatever, when they were landing outside of the Wakandan dome, I was thinking, okay, these guys are kind of screwed right now. Even when Thor showed up to provide backup and everything, things still went south once Thanos showed up, and everyone was like, okay, our heroes rush at him, try it one by one, and he just tosses them aside like rag dolls. It's like the Russos really took advantage of the fact that they were able to, just do whatever dark thing they wanted to do. Also, Loki bites it 10 minutes into the movie. I did not see that coming. I mean, him dying was probably inevitable, but I did not think it was going to happen so soon, and not by Thanos crushing his throat, dropping him to the ground, and then just coldly saying, "No resurrections this time," as if he was speaking to the audience that, yeah, death is not going to be cheap in this movie. Well, cosmic unerasure of everyone else aside, but I've heard that all physical deaths in this movie might be final. So, I mean, Gamora might really be dead, and I mean, that's kind of sad, actually. In the first movie, she said to Peter, "I've lived a lifetime surrounded by my enemies. I'll be grateful to die alongside my friends." And then she dies alone.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. All right, Eric, I don't know if we mentioned this on screen, but I remember your reaction by the way that movie ended. Mike and I had to check on you to make sure you were okay, because you look like.
I mean, I was also kind of being frozen a bit for sarcastic effect, but yeah, no, there are a lot of characters that died that I didn't expect, a lot that survived I didn't think they would, and just the way it all happened, it was just all so sudden for a lot of them that I was like, I know Marvel's on a winning streak and they can basically do whatever they want at this point, but I didn't think they'd go that far. And a lot of the surprise I kind of made in previous comments, like, I couldn't believe that they had such an emotional death for Spider-Man. I thought deals with Sony would be complicated. They wouldn't play a big part in the movie anyway. And then I thought Black Panther, they can't get rid of him, how popular he is. Only character I was actually a bit mad to see go, purely for the next movie's sake, was Star-Lord, because that guy's got some explaining to do.
Yes, he does.
But yeah,
Seeing Chris and Colton looking
no.
like they're confused.
Yeah.
You're indicating, this is all his fault.
Confused.
Mm-hmm. But
Well,
I
you'd be
will
pissed
say,
if you found out that you'd be pissed too if you found out that the love of your life just got murdered and you weren't there to
I
save
mean,
her.
yeah, but if he punched him like 3 seconds later, it would have been okay. But no, he had to punch him right then.
Why didn't anybody stab Thanos? Is my question.
Also,
Drax had knives. Why didn't you just hand one off to
I'll-
Star Wars?
I'll
Like,
move on
stab
to
him
my
in the eye!
I'll move on to my comment, my final comment I just have to make. I just wanted to make one note of that scene. What was Nebula doing during that scene? She was just standing there. Why didn't she restrain him? but getting back on topic, I will say probably my favorite death to see on screen, just due to like how shocked I was Vision, because we all knew he was gonna die going in. We saw him die from Scarlet Witch, and he's like, clever. Reverse time, punched him in the face. And I'm like, what? I did not see that one coming at all.
The sad thing about at first he's dying nobly. He closes his eyes and he's like, "I love you," and he's probably thinking, "I might be dying, but at least I'm dying to save my friends." And then suddenly, Thanos reverses time, and then Vision's like, "Wait, Thanos? Oh shit!"
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's wrap it up. One more thing that I want to bring up. Let's talk about that one post-credits scene. As if all those great heroes dying wasn't shocking enough, we suddenly get the death of both Maria Hill and Nick Fury. Like, you just brought him back after 3 years, and you're going to kill him like that. And then you see him drop this pager he's got, and whose symbol should pop up but Miss Marvel? So that automatically tells you she's going to be in Avengers 4. Yeah, I know. I know it. I'm saying Miss Marvel so that people don't confuse it for DC's Captain Marvel. Okay?
You mean Shazam?
They're both Captain Marvel, Colton. You got to give them the other names to distinguish them, okay? But anyway, so I'm excited to see that. I'm like, wow, you bring back Nick Fury just to kill him. You better not keep him dead. So, real quick, who saw that coming, and are you excited to just finally get Miss Marvel to show up? Because, as popular as Black would have been, will be Marvel's first attempt at a solo female-led superhero film. I think they can pull it off, but are you excited for Miss Marvel to show up, Chris? Or what do you think of Nick Fury's death and the appearance of Miss Marvel?
Oh boy. Well, refer to her as Captain Marvel because that's the character's name. Yes. Yeah. Did I expect? I was very unsure about if they were going to kill both Nick Fury and Maria Hill. And when that moment happened, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, no. Yeah. I was like, in denial. I was just shaking my head. No. And I love that one moment when he says "mother."
Like, could you allow him to say it just once, please? Disney? Just once. Give us motherfucker from Sam Jackson, please. Just once.
They're pushing. They're pushing.
I'm pretty sure he's used it so many times he has single-handedly destroyed it. Let me stop.
All right.
As I was saying, yeah. That was another gut punch, but there's a lot of excitement. And I'm excited for Captain Marvel for several reasons, because we're going to see aspects of the Kree-Skull War from the comics. We get to see Nick Fury before he lost his eye. And we get to see Agent Coulson again. Yes.
Oh, that confirmed?
Yeah, he's gonna be in this movie.
Thank you. And that goes to one thing, but I'll leave it for like a final comment. But anyway, Colton, what about you? Your reaction to Maria and Nick's death and the sign of Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, whatever.
Well, I honestly didn't think we would ever see them again, to be honest. I mean, here we are, like, 3 years there. It's been like, how many years since Age of Ultron?
3 years.
It's been 3 years since Age of Ultron or whatever. And like we had that was the last time we saw Maria Hill and Nick Fury, and we didn't see them at all in this film. I did not see any spoilers saying that they were going to be in this movie, and you know how people love to talk about casting and what have you. So when they showed up, I was surprised and I was happy. And then they got cosmically erased, and I was sad. And it was pretty chilling, being able to send out that message. And we don't even know what it's going to be for. Is he contacting Captain Marvel in the past? Is he contacting her in the present to maybe help out? It was an effective tease, I would say.
Motherfucker.
And I was surprised because after seeing Nick Fury starting to be erased, I thought, what could they possibly do to, I don't know, give us some sort of semblance of maybe there will be some salvation. But I actually thought that there wasn't going to be a post-credit scene, actually, because when we did not get a mid-credit scene, I actually thought that's how they're going to end the film. No post-credit scene, no mid-credit scene. It's just that final shot of Thanos looking out into the distance.
All right. Eric, what about you?
Well, to be honest, I kind of set this at the theater in my initial predictions for who was going to die. I didn't list Nick Fury because I just thought, he'd make a cameo, like he'd make just a cameo role, if any. But I figured there's so many people, they're not going to include him anyway. So, but I did think if he appears, he's probably biting the dust. And, well, I didn't expect him to go like that. That's unfortunate, but that was a very cool tease at the end. Don't really have anything else to add that Colton and Chris haven't already said.
Okay then. All right, so let's wrap this up, guys. Obviously, this was a hell of a movie, and I think we're all thrilled to death to see Avengers 4. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I wish I had a time machine so I could leap forward to next year and just watch it. If there is one thing...
Waiting a time stone?
Go ahead.
That was...
prefer DeLorean.
Yeah, or DeLorean. I'm thinking DeLorean, really. But anyway, if there was, like, one thing that you would like to see in Avengers 4, like, if you had a chance to talk to Kevin Feige right now and you said, can you just make this one change, add or subtract this one thing into Avengers 4, what would it be? Or, like, what's something you want to see in Avengers 4? Like, for me, I'm sorry, I want to see the Shield show up in there. Like, I want these guys to know, like, because I think, Cap's going to die in Avengers 4. I think he's going to die, and he's going to come back but die in Avengers 4. He's going to stay dead. RDJ is probably going to buy. A lot of the Phase 1 heroes are probably going to bind up dead or retired at the end of at the end of Avengers 4. Would it kill him to know that Coulson survived? I mean, I know that, for anyone who's keeping track of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he looks like he's going to die somehow this season. But if they somehow keep him alive, like, would it kill you to have these guys come on to the show? I mean, I know it'd be hard for, like, the Marvel Netflix show, but can you bring the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. onto the movies, please? Just why that one thing? So I doubt it, but that's one thing I'd love to see. So, Chris, what about you? Like, anything you're hoping to see in Avengers 4?
Maybe some Kree skulls. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really specific on what I want to see. It's just like
I think I can certainly do that.
It's just like how about just for jokes, how about assemble a shot of the heroes assembling Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Guardians of the Galaxy. That would be pretty epic.
Circle shot version 2.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Colton, what about you?
It's not going to happen. It's wishful thinking, but I would honestly like to have seen Thanos bring the Black Order back to life just to see how they would react to the fact that Thanos just completed his mission. So what does that mean for us? Are we still going to be your lieutenants, or are we, just free to do whatever we want now?
Yeah.
Okay. Eric, what about you?
All right. Well, I'm giving my thought to this answer, like, since you just said that. And honestly, what I kind of want to see is similar to something you alluded to in the theater. Because Tony and Steve Rogers did not see each other in this film once. So I want, and because one of them is probably going to pass at the end of the next film, I want in the final battle where they take down Thanos, the final blow be like a team strike from the two of them right before one of them goes. Sort of a symbolic reuniting of the two forces after they were split apart in Civil War.
Yeah, that would be
pretty cool, actually.
That would be very cool.
Reminds me of a Spider-Man comic where Ben Reilly and Peter were fighting Carnage simultaneously and delivered a single kick right to his face to
Yeah,
take him out.
Exactly like that. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Something like that with Iron Man and Captain America. One last team up.
And I can't think of a better way to wrap this show up. So, guys, I want to thank all of you very much for watching. Chris, thank you very much for being here.
Great. I mean, yeah, it's great doing this show. Hopefully we can get back on track. I mean, but it's great to doing this again, especially talk about this awesome movie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, let's. I don't want to do another 2-month hiatus. These hiatuses have got to stop. I hope we didn't scare your friend away. It looks like he didn't finish around. I hope we didn't scare him.
Well, hopefully he's going to be back for another show.
All right, Colton, it was a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, it was great to be here. I'm glad that I missed chatting with you guys. This was fun. By the way, real quick, can you believe that we had Benedict Cumberbatch and Robert Downey Jr. together in this film, and no one made a Sherlock joke? Not one.
Yeah,
that was either.
I didn't think of that.
On the writers.
They missed.
They better do it in the fourth one.
They missed a massive opportunity. No. Oh, I'm so bad now.
Come to think about it, that's something I want to see in Avengers 4.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to see too. All right. Eric, I mean, I'm really glad that you're here because now that you're not in work anymore with me, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through the last days that I have there. So it was a pleasure. It was so nice having you here to talk to you again.
Oh yeah, it's a pleasure being here. This is always fun, and this was definitely a discussion I did not want to miss.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. All right, guys. So with any luck, we could, the power of the Infinity Stones on our side. We will be back next week, and hopefully on our main channel. So thank you very much for watching. We will see you next week, or try to see you next week. Until then, have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.